Hey everybody, this is Teresa. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I wanted to do a Whip It Up Wednesday meal in the crock pot. I'm going to be using the Instant Pot only to sear my meat, but it has a slow cook function. And I'm going to make barbecue pork, very simple. And let's get started. Boneless pork loin ribeye roast. I'm going to open it up and then I'm going to put this marinade. I'm going to mix this up with vinegar, oil, and water. Mix this up, salt and pepper my pork, and mix the marinade up, and then I'm going to marinate it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to show you the next step. I'm using the marinade. I always like to add a little salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I find the marinades don't have enough salt and pepper and garlic for me. So I'm going to just season both sides of this. I'm going to rinse my hands off again. And you don't have to sear your meat. I always do for the crock pot. You can sear it on the stove, or you can just throw it in the crock pot. You don't even have to sear it. I just like that it seals in the juices. Okay, so now I'm going to throw this in my bowl. Move this out of the way. Put this here. Here's my marinade. And this marinade's got brown sugar. It's called brown sugar bourbon with marinade. We use it all the time. It's very good. I'm just going to mix this up. And then seal this and put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes, and I'll be back. Show you the Instant Pot. If you can see right here, there's a slow cook button. I've never used the function before, but I thought if I got one with the slow cook function, I could get rid of my slow cooker and make more room in my kitchen. And also, if you just buy this lid, I think it's for $14.95 on Amazon, it turns your Instant Pot into a slow cooker. Pretty cool. I love it. We'll see if I love it. This is my first time using it as a slow cooker. I have it heating up to get ready to sear the meat, and I'll come back when it gets really hot. Put the meat in. I'm not gonna put all the marinade. I'm just gonna, the last time I tried to sear pork, I burnt myself, but I did it on the stove. The Instant Pot doesn't get quite as hot as the stove. It'll give you a little bit of color. So I'm going to sear this for a couple of minutes on this side, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'll bring you back. So I'm going to flip it. I'm just looking for a little bit of color. Not much. And also, while I have it on, and I also put it, I cannot talk today. I do apologize. I also added a couple of tablespoons of oil to the bottom. And I have some onions that I need to use. And we love onions, so I'm just going to throw in about 1 medium onion. And this is a smaller piece of meat, so hopefully it won't take too long to cook. I'm going to cook it on high. And I have some fresh garlic. And you can never have enough fresh garlic. I'll put just about 2 teaspoons of that. So let me sear this for a couple of minutes, and I'll bring it back. Searing, or it's trying to sear. I'm going to show you. I'm going to add this barbecue sauce, if I can put it in front of the camera. Half of this mixed with this. And I put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chicken stock just to thin it out a little bit. And I'll add more if we need more, but that should be plenty. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. Now, if you were using it as the pressure cooker method, you would have to add a lot more liquid. Since I'm slow cooking, I don't have to add a ton of liquid. So I'm going to put the lid on and slow cook this on high for about 3 to 4 hours until it gets tender, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I just wanted to show you that it's on the slow cook, and it set itself for 4 hours and 30 minutes, and I changed it to 4 hours, and it just says normal. So I'll have to look at the instructions for high or low, but I'm just gonna leave it at normal. We'll be back. Just wanted to show you how my pork's coming along in the slow cooker. I split it in half with a spoon. It's pretty tender. I'm gonna let it go for probably another hour to make sure I can split it with 2 forks. I think it's gonna be delicious. I'm so excited. Okay, here's our slow cooked pork. I've been cooking it all day, probably about 6 hours. I chose the the boneless pork loin ribeye roast, and it was only $5. And I didn't want a huge amount. I know because it's just 2 of us here, so we're gonna freeze part of it, eat part of it. But I shredded it up with the fork, and I had put 2 kinds of barbecue sauce in there, and onions and garlic. And I like it saucy like this. I'll get a close-up. And it's because the barbecue sauce is not extra strong. You can always add extra or drain some of the juice if you want to. And I'm also baking the buns for this recipe. I am so sorry. I've been doing a lot today for this recipe, and they're in the oven. And once they come out, I'll show you what the pork sandwich looks like. Okay, here's our finished barbecued pork. It's really delicious. I used mustard sauce and the Sweet Baby Ray sauce, and a great combination. The marinade was good. It's juicy. You can add more barbecue sauce if you like. We like it kind of plain. I will probably add cheese to mine. But this is my contribution to the Whip It Up Wednesday. And I'd like to thank the ladies for letting everyone in on this. And the collab is with Linda's Pantry, SuttonsDaze, More to Life, Wilhelms Kitchen, and Heather, the Kneady Homesteader. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you try this recipe.